I think it's harder for us, for the volunteers, because we know that it's happening, and that this is a more official decision than the other ones. I think for the refugees, they do get told this so often that they're still holding out hope that they get let through. We've had many times where they said, "No, that's it, the border's closed forever," and then the next day they let people through. So I think it's much harder for us, not knowing what's going to happen now, whether the space is going to turn into a Calais and people are just going to live here, or as of today, they started moving in loads and loads and loads of police buses and riot police, and they've removed a few people, but not forcefully, which is really nice. But it feels pretty tense, not really knowing what happens next.
It's a truly hopeless situation for those people, isn't it? And at some stage, they're going to respond to the understanding of their own hopelessness. Do you worry ever that, in fact, it could become angry there?
Yes, I worry that when they move people out, that it could become a difficult situation. I know when they decided to move all the Afghanis out, there was a lot of violence from the authorities against the refugees, and I've seen a lot of violence towards refugees. They're kicking people into buses and beating them, and there's a lot of injuries around at the moment from authorities that I think the UNHCR are investigating at the moment, and human rights violations. And I'm worried that if they want to make everyone move and people don't want to give up hope and they don't want to go, that there's going to be problems with that.
We asked you this the other night, and it's an impossible question to answer, but what does a win look like now for these people? Because they've risked their lives, they've left home, some of them haven't made it to that point, some people have drowned on the way there, they've got all this way, they've lost everything, they've left everything. They so desperately want some kind of hope, some kind of future, and they're stuck at the border. What do they do?
What do they do? They wait. They wait for an answer. I mean, they're trying to move people out to the military-run hotspots near here, but they don't want to go because it feels like they'll get forgotten about, which I think is a very real possibility. There's some people giving up, and they want to go back to Syria. They just don't know what to do. Some people get through to Germany, but Germany can't take everyone, and there's a lot of issues around life not being very nice up at the camps in Germany either. I think a lot of people are destined to a long time left in camps, and I don't know if they have many options at the moment, because many of these people have sold everything and they've spent all their money to come here. It costs thousands and thousands of euros to get the smugglers and to be brought over. It's very, very expensive. They pay, 1,000 to 3,000 euros a person just for the rubber boat ride over to Lesbos, and then they pay for buses, and they've sold everything. So I don't know if they have very many options at this point. I don't think many of them are ready to give up.
In the meantime, they're in those camps. So what is life like in the camps? Is there a school of any description? What are the children doing? Who's feeding them? Are there ablutions blocks? Can they have showers? Is there anything that we might regard as normalcy?
No, no. I think life here for children is very, very difficult. Save the Children do the best they can, and they provide tents and colouring in and movie nights, but there's no school system and there's no structure. A lot of the parents are just too tired to manage things. I mean, tonight our camp here is horrific. It's been raining for 2 days. It's underwater. All the tents are flooded. Everyone's wet. People are getting hypothermic. People are getting very sick. We've been seeing a lot of pneumonia and quite serious illnesses due to multiple infections due to it just being a huge swamp at the moment. It's quite cold tonight. It's just horrible. There are toilets, but the facilities there are for 1,500 and we've got 15,000. So it's very hard to get access to the facilities that exist there at the moment. So it's very much sleeping in tents in the mud. That's about the extent of it. So there's definitely no structure and no schooling, and I've met children who've been stuck for months. They've been travelling and they're just not doing a lot, to be honest.